The coins hit the glass counter. One by one, clink, clink, clink. It wasn't a lot of money, just a handful of pennies, some nickels that had turned dark with age, and $3 bills that had been folded so many times they were soft as fabric. The total was exactly $4.72. The boy standing on his tiptoes couldn't have been more than 7 years old. He was wearing a t-shirt that was 2 sizes too big, and sneakers that had duct tape holding the soles together. He pushed the small pile of money forward with a dirty finger. His voice shook when he spoke. Is it enough? He didn't look at the money. He looked past the counter, towards the back of the store, towards the cages. Is it enough to buy him back? The store owner didn't even look up from his clipboard. He was a large man. Sweat stained the collar of his shirt. He smelled like stale coffee and indifference. He sighed, a long, heavy sound that filled the quiet shop. Kid, we talked about this. The boy swallowed hard, grabbed the edge of the counter. His knuckles turned white. I know, but I got more. I found more. The owner finally looked down. He glanced at the pile of change. He sneered, $4. You think you can buy a dog for $4? The boy nodded, fast, desperate. Please, he knows me. He's crying because he doesn't know where I am. The owner laughed. It wasn't a nice laugh. It was a dry, sharp bark. That mutt isn't crying. He's barking because he's a dog. And he's for sale. For $600, not 4. He waved his hand. Now get out, you're blocking the paying customers. The boy didn't move. He couldn't. If he walked out that door, he knew he would never see his best friend again. He took a breath. He was about to beg, but he didn't know. He wasn't alone in the store, standing in the back aisle. Hidden behind a stack of 50-pound dog food bags was a man in a charcoal suit. He had been watching the whole time. He saw the duct tape on the shoes. He saw the desperation in the boy's eyes, and he saw something else, something that made his blood run cold, because 30 years ago, that little boy was him, and he knew exactly what it felt like to have a price tag put on the only thing you ever loved. Marcus held his breath. He wanted to step in. He wanted to shout, but he waited. He needed to see what the boy would do next, because what happened in the next 3 minutes wouldn't just change the boy's life. It would force Marcus to make a decision. That would threaten his entire career. The air in the pet shop was thick. It smelled of sawdust and bleach. The boy, whose name was Leo, stood his ground. He looked small against the high counter, but his eyes were fierce. He reached into his pocket. He pulled out one more thing. It wasn't money. It was a picture, a photograph. The edges were frayed. He slid it across the glass until it hit the owner's hand. Look at it, please. The owner looked. It was a picture of Leo. He was sitting on a porch step, and wrapped in his arms was a scruffy terrier mix with one ear that flopped down and one that stood up. The dog looked like a mess, wiry fur, uneven patches of brown and black, but in the photo, the dog was looking at Leo like he was the center of the universe. That's Buster, Leo whispered. My dad gave him to me before he left. The owner didn't care about the dad. He didn't care about the photo. He flicked it back across the counter. It fluttered to the floor. Sad story. Kid. Everyone has a sad story. Leo dropped to his knees to pick up the photo. He wiped the dust off it carefully. My mom got sick. Leo said to the floor. She lost her job at the diner. We had to move to the motel. They don't allow dogs. He stood up again. She brought him here yesterday. She said you would find him a good home. But she didn't want to. She cried the whole way home. The owner rolled his eyes. He checked his watch. Look, I run a business. Your mom surrendered the animal. That means he belongs to me. And I feed him. I house him. That costs money. Leo pushed the $4 forward again. I didn't eat lunch at school today. I saved my money. I didn't eat yesterday either. Marcus, watching from the shadows, felt a physical blow to his chest. He looked at Leo's thin frame, the way his elbows poked out sharply from his shirt. The boy was starving himself. For a dog. Marcus adjusted his tie. It felt suddenly tight. He was the CEO of a massive logistics company in Chicago. He dealt with million-dollar contracts every morning before breakfast. He was used to negotiating with sharks. He was used to crushing competition. But watching this interaction, he felt helpless. He remembered the feeling, the gnawing hunger in your belly that you try to ignore because you need the money for something else. For him, it had been medicine. For his sister, for Leo, it was Buster. Leo wasn't done. I can work, he said. His voice was gaining strength. I can come here every day after school. I can clean the cages. I can sweep the floors. I can carry the big bags. The owner looked at Leo's skinny arms and scoffed. You couldn't lift a bag of cat litter, let alone the big stuff. I can try. Leo said, please, just let me work off the $600. The owner leaned over the counter. His face was red. Get out. He pointed to the door. I have a customer coming in 10 minutes to look at that terrier, a lady from the hills. She pays cash, and she doesn't bring fleas into my store. The words hung in the air. Cruel, unnecessary. Leo flinched, as if he had been slapped. A tear finally escaped. It cut a clean line through the dirt on his cheek. He looked at the $4.72. It was everything he had, and it meant nothing. He started to reach for the money, to take it back, to give up. Marcus took a step forward. His dress shoes clicked on the linoleum floor, but before he could reveal himself, the front door chimed. A woman walked in. She was dressed in a cream-colored coat that probably cost more than Leo's mother made in a year. She held a leather purse tight against her side. Mr. Henderson. The owner's face changed instantly. The scowl vanished. A fake, oily smile plastered itself onto his lips. Mrs. van der Hoven, right on time. He hustled out from behind the counter, ignoring Leo completely. He almost knocked the boy over as he rushed to greet her. So good to see you. You're here for the terrier. Yes, the woman nodded. She looked around the shop with a wrinkled nose. Yes, my daughter wants a project dog, something to rescue. It's trendy right now. A project. Leo heard the word. Buster wasn't a project. He wasn't a trend. He was family. Leo turned to the woman. He didn't think about it. He just moved. Please, he said. He tugged on her expensive coat. Don't buy him. Please don't buy him. The woman jumped back, pulling her coat away as if Leo were contagious. Oh my, she gasped. The owner turned on Leo. His face was purple with rage. That is it. I told you to leave. He reached out and grabbed Leo by the shoulder. His grip was hard, too hard. He began to drag the boy toward the door. Leo dug his heels in. He screamed, Buster, Buster, from the back of the store. A dog started barking. A frantic, high-pitched yelp. He heard the boy. He knew the voice. Leo fought. He kicked. But he was 7 years old, and he hadn't eaten in 2 days. He was no match for the heavy man dragging him out. Let go of him. The voice was quiet, low, but it carried a weight that stopped everything in the room. The owner froze. He looked back. Marcus stepped into the light. He didn't look angry. He looked dangerous. He looked like a storm that was about to break. The owner blinked. He saw the suit, the watch, the way Marcus stood. Excuse me. Marcus walked forward, slowly. He stopped 2 feet from the owner. I said, let go of the boy. The owner released Leo. The boy stumbled back, breathing hard, rubbing his shoulder. Who are you? Another stray? Marcus didn't answer him. He looked down at Leo. He crouched down so they were eye to eye. He ignored the woman in the expensive coat. He ignored the owner. Is that your money on the counter, son? Leo nodded. He was trembling. Yes, sir. And you made an offer to buy the dog? Yes, sir. But he said it's not enough. Marcus stood up. He turned to the owner. The air in the room seemed to drop 10 degrees. I believe you have a standing offer on the table. The owner laughed. Nervous now. Look, buddy, I don't know who you are, but this kid has $4. This lady is paying $600. That's how business works. Is it? He reached into his jacket pocket. He pulled out a business card. He didn't hand it to the owner. He placed it gently on the glass counter, right next to Leo's pile of change. The owner leaned in to read it. His face went pale. All the color drained out of his cheeks. He looked up at Marcus. His mouth opened, but no sound came out. The card read, Marcus Sterling, CEO, Sterling Supply Chain. Sterling Supply Chain was the company that owned the building. They owned the land the shop sat on, and they were the primary distributor for every bag of dog food on the shelves. I didn't know, Mr. Sterling. We weren't expecting a visit. Marcus ignored him. He turned to the woman in the coat. Ma'am, he said smoothly. I apologize for the inconvenience, but there has been an error in inventory. The dog you came for is not available. The woman looked affronted. Well, I never. She spun on her heel and marched out the door. The bell chimed angrily behind her. Silence returned to the shop. The owner was sweating profusely now. Mr. Sterling, look, the kid, he's a nuisance. He's been coming in here bothering customers. I was just trying to run a respectable establishment. Marcus walked over to the counter. He picked up the $4.72. He counted it slowly. He picked up the photograph from the floor. He looked at the happy dog and the happy boy. Then he looked at the owner. You think business is about the money. You think it's about squeezing every cent out of a transaction. He shook his head. You're wrong. Business is about value. And you have no idea the value of what was standing right in front of you. Marcus turned to Leo. He held out the money. Leo looked confused. He thought he was in trouble. He thought this rich man was going to yell at him too. Leo, Marcus said gently, do you still want to buy your dog? Leo nodded. Tears welled up again. Yes, sir, but I don't have $600. Marcus smiled. It was a genuine smile, one that reached his eyes. The price isn't $600. He placed the $4.72 back into Leo's hand. Then, he took 1 penny from the pile, just one. He placed the shiny copper coin on the counter. The price is 1 cent. The owner started to protest, but sir, the overhead. Marcus shot him a look that silenced him instantly. 1 cent for the dog and a lifetime supply of food. He looked at the owner, put it in the register. Ring it up. Now, the owner's hands shook as he opened the register. He punched in the numbers. 1 cent. Marcus looked back at Leo. Go get him, son. Leo didn't wait. He didn't ask twice. He ran, he sprinted past the counter, past the bird cages, into the back room. A second later, there was a sound that broke the tension in the room completely. Barking, happy, yipping barking, and the sound of a boy laughing through his tears. Leo came running back out. In his arms, almost as big as he was Buster. The dog was wiggling so hard his whole body was shaking. He was licking tears off Leo's face. His tail was thumping against Leo's ribs like a drum. Leo stopped in front of Marcus. He hugged the dog tight with one arm. He reached out his other hand. Thank you. Leo whispered, thank you. Marcus felt a lump in his throat. He knelt down again. He scratched Buster behind the ears. The dog leaned into his hand, sensing a friend. Don't thank me. You saved him. You came back for him. That's what matters. Leo looked down at his shoes. The duct tape was peeling. My mom is gonna be so happy, but I don't know if we have food for him. Marcus stood up. He took out his phone. He typed a quick message to his assistant. Leo, he said, where is your mom right now? She's at the motel, one by the highway. She's looking for jobs in the paper. Marcus nodded. Come on, let's go give her some good news. They walked out of the store together, the boy, the dog, and the CEO. Marcus left the penny on the counter. As he reached the door, he paused. He turned back to the owner one last time. Mr. Henderson. Yes, Mr. Sterling, you have until Friday to vacate the premises. We don't renew leases for people who lack heart. He let the door close behind him. The drive to the motel was quiet. Leo sat in the back of Marcus's black sedan. Buster was asleep on his lap, snoring softly. Marcus watched them in the rearview mirror. He saw the peace on the boy's face. It reminded him of the day his own father had come home with groceries after a month of nothing but rice. The feeling that the world was scary, but for this one moment, you were safe. They pulled up to the motel. It was a rundown place with peeling paint and a flickering neon sign. Leo's mom was sitting on the stairs outside room 104. She had her head in her hands when she heard the car door close. She looked up. She saw Leo, then she saw Buster. Her hands flew to her mouth. She ran to them. She fell to her knees on the pavement and wrapped her arms around both of them. Leo, she sobbed, I told you we couldn't. I bought him back. Mom, I used my savings, and this man helped. She looked up. She saw Marcus standing by the car. She wiped her face. Embarrassed. She stood up, brushing off her worn jeans. Sir, I don't have money to pay you back. I'm sorry my son bothered you. Marcus shook his head. He didn't bother me. Ma'am, he reminded me of something important. Marcus reached into his jacket. He didn't pull out money. He pulled out another card, but this one had a handwritten number on the back. My company is opening a new distribution center 3 miles from here. We need a floor manager, someone who knows how to organize, someone who is resilient. He looked at Leo, then back to the mother. The pay is good, full benefits, and the housing assistance program starts on day 1. The mother took the card. Her hands were shaking. Why would you do this? Marcus looked at Leo. The boy was sitting on the curb. sharing a granola bar Marcus had given him with the dog because someone helped my mother once. A long time ago, he looked her in the eye, he saw the exhaustion, but he also saw the strength. All I ask is that you let the boy keep the dog. She nodded. Tears were streaming down her face again, but they weren't sad tears this time. Yes, yes, of course, Marcus smiled. Then I'll see you on Monday at 8 a.m. Don't be late. He got back into his car. He watched them for a moment, the mother hugging the son, the dog jumping around them in circles. It was a perfect picture, better than the one in the photo. Marcus started the engine. He drove away from the motel. He drove back toward the city, back toward the skyscrapers and the contracts and the noise, but for the first time in years, the silence in his car didn't feel lonely. He thought about the $4.72. It was sitting on his dashboard. Leo had insisted he take it, payment for the ride. Marcus picked up the handful of coins. He held them tight. He had millions in the bank. He had stocks, bonds, and assets, but as he drove down the highway, clutching those warm, dirty coins, he knew he was holding the most valuable thing he had earned in his entire life. Because money can buy a lot of things. It can buy buildings. It can buy silence. It can buy power. But it can't buy the look in a boy's eyes when he gets his best friend back. That kind of thing, that's not for sale. Marcus smiled. He dropped the coins into his cup holder and turned up the radio. He had a meeting in an hour, but for right now, he just wanted to enjoy the feeling of finally, after all these years, being the person he needed when he was 7 years old.